This is going to be a very short demonstration of our Panatracker Transaction Manager. This is the server-side component that provides several different features for our handheld application. First of all, it provides the ability to set up configurations and users to access and use the handheld application. We also have a transaction manager logging tool that provides detailed logs of every transaction that was completed through the handhelds themselves. Our user administration, this is an example of users that you can set up. This might be users for simply accessing this web portal. It could be users for the handheld. So you can set up user logins for the handheld application if you'd like. This is completely optional, and you can set up as many users as you'd like. Each user is then assigned to a profile, and profile configurations could be based on a company, it could be based on different defaults that a user may be using. So there's a couple different ways that you could set up the different profile assignments. And then we also manage the devices. So each device is licensed here to be identified as being able to communicate back and forth from the handhelds and back to Dynamics GP. That's what the device management is for here. For assets, we have the asset setting configuration. So this provides some various configuration settings that you can set up by profile. And keep in mind, a profile could be company, it could be a user, or it could just be something generic that you're going to assign to that handheld unit based on its location and where that unit is physically located. So some of the settings that you can do is settings for defaults for the location and asset class code, for example. We also have the support for the purchase order processing, which can be turned on and off as well. And then you can also control access to each of the specific transactions themselves. We do have some user-definable setups, such as the asset short descriptions, and this is where that would be set up and managed from here. And then being able to select this from a list instead of having to manually type information on the handheld. Also, the detailed logs, each transaction has a log page, so you can see it will identify the date and the time that that transaction was created. It's going to identify that the transaction succeeded to be updated in Dynamics. Also keep in mind that your transactions, you can set them so that they don't automatically submit to Dynamics if you want them to be pending here so that you can edit them. This is an option that you can set up. This works specifically for add assets, especially when you have to add some additional information, better suited for entering it in on a computer versus on a small handheld device. You might want to have this audited before you actually submit those back to your Dynamics database, and we have the ability to do some editing for some of those transactions as well. The log will also log which profile was assigned to the handheld at the time the transaction was completed, the device that completed that transaction, and if you're using user logins, which user completed that transaction. And then it also, in detail, enters or logs every piece of information that was captured for that asset record itself. And then we also have a field chooser, which allows you to, if you're using those user-defined fields and you want to add this into your log file display, you can do that as well. Any of the fields that we have on here, you can also do a filtering. So if you're looking for information on a specific asset, works really nice, especially for updates. If you want to see a record of all the different updates completed through the handheld on an asset, you can actually filter on any of these fields to display, to single out information. And then you also have, for the updates, we also have the change log. So it will tell you what the previous setting was and then what it was changed to in detail. So we have a lot of information on the updates here as well for that logging. The logs are all in SQL database, so all the information captured is stored there. So if you want additional reporting in SQL through SQL reports or bringing in through Smart List Builder, you certainly have that option to do so.